arrancaríamos
con el informe del
director general. Me imagino que habrá expresiones de felicitación después de eso, y luego nos vamos a un pequeño break para continuar con la agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vamos a iniciar.
So, I hereby call to order the regular session of the Inter-American Board on Agriculture. And then our first item is the report of the Director General for the period 2010 to 2017. Mr. Director General, I give you the floor, sir.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon to all of you. Dear members of the Inter-American Board of Agriculture, distinguished guests, ICA colleagues that are here and in person and virtually attending this meeting. 8 years have elapsed quickly since this government body elected me for this honorable position as director of the Institute. For a brief period, it's a brief period of time if we consider everything that we wanted to do in the interest of hemispheric agriculture. But replacing the Director General is a significant event at an institution that abides by democratic values characteristic of the countries in the Americas. Fortunately, that same institutional strength of ICA allows that exists because these changes do not alter its or not change its raison d'etre. It supports efforts of its member states in achieving agricultural development and rural well-being. In Jamaica, 8 years back, I made a commitment to you, strengthen the technical capacities of the Institute to support your countries throughout this journey towards competitive agriculture, one that's inclusive and sustainable. This commitment was set or established in 3 documents: the strategic plan for 2010-2020 and 2 medium-term plans covering the years 2010 to 2018. Although you will give the final verdict regarding fulfillment of the objectives that we have set forth, I can vouch that all of us here at ICA have made our best effort in delivering the best results for each of the activities that we have carried out. I would also like to emphasize what I mentioned 4 years back at the Iaba in Argentina. Beyond the figures, we have been able to create positive change at ICA by modifying its cooperation model. We were a bit forced due to the difficult financial constraints that permeated us, but we were guided by a firm belief that teamwork leads to best results. And as a result, we have made sure that all the technical resources at the Institute are used for those topics in which we have greatest expertise and proven as well. In that same manner, during the first term of my administration, the Institute strengthened the skill set of its members through technological innovation, agricultural innovation and technology, plant health and safety, HFS, agribusiness, and agricultural trade, development, territorial development, rural development, and management of natural resources, dealing with climate change and food security. Once we established our priorities and emphasized or concentrated our actions on these items during the 2010-2014 period, we evolved in the next 4 years towards the current cooperation model that's geared towards impacting our countries. Once we accepted the fact that ICA is one of the many actors involved in agricultural development, we defined the concept of contributions to be able to assess the impact of our cooperation. In order to make the Institute's contributions a reality, ICA has been a close partner to public institutions, mainly ministries of agriculture, with which we manage policy development programs, land organization, land and research, extension, health, added value, development, and trade. By average, we have led more than 200 initiatives, or we had more than 200 initiatives per year. Throughout the hemisphere, with the support of the United States, we executed actions to improve our market information systems, ensure better health food or agricultural health conditions, and to abide by the requirements of the Food Safety Modernization Act, FSMA, in different global meetings, Codex and the WTO, to promote the regulatory framework of biotechnology and biosafety. ICA has also addressed issues dealing with HFS, agricultural health and food safety, and dealing with emergencies and promoting best agricultural practices, as well as food inspection throughout the region, ensuring that we are a guarantor of improved health conditions in our countries. We've also increased business opportunities and the productivity of agri-food chains throughout the continent, from basic grains, fruit, coffee, and cocoa in Mesoamerica, honey and mango and root plants and tubercules in the Caribbean, quinoa and forest products in the Andean region, to beef, grains, and horticulture in the South. Also, we've had tangible experiences such as export platforms to Canada and the United States. With regards to rural well-being, although our effort focuses on fostering conditions for the execution of public policies with the territorial focus, the Institute is very aware of the work, of its field work, especially in areas that are considered to be poor or affected by natural phenomena or dealing with armed conflict. Along these same lines, our commitment was to execute affirmative actions towards agriculture led by women and young women as well. We have different methodologies for assessing, empowering, and socioeconomic inclusion that today of these individuals, that today are public assets available to benefit these important population groups as well as their future. The approach towards climate change and its relationship to agriculture was focused on improving institutionality or public institutional capacities for better agricultural planning, considering urgent needs for adaptation, mitigation, and risk management. Our work was key to improve the skill set of public and private actors on climatically intelligent agriculture, the carbon and water footprints, and the use of biodiversity and transformation of natural resources. As you're well aware, we received specific mandates at ministerial meetings in 2011, 13, and 15 regarding topics on innovation, management of water resources, and productivity of water resources, respectively. This is the reason why we executed specific tasks aimed at addressing these items. And today we are handing over, or will deliver, a book that compiles testimonies of these efforts. With regards to innovation, we're able to establish and use new techniques for beekeeping and traditional crops, as well as greenhouse production. We also introduced new varieties of roots, tubercules, beans, tomato, maize, and avocado within a research a project of a research framework with partners such as CARDI, the European Union, IFAD, and international research centers, as well as academia and governments. We also built innovative technological models based on partnerships, on organic certification, bio input, management of veterinary drugs, and platforms to exchange our scientific knowledge, where biotechnology and bio safety required our expertise. With regards to water for agriculture, the results focus on planning, training, and the construction of irrigation systems or drainage systems, as well as water harvesting or harvesting of rain, and reservoirs, water reservoirs, to increase resilience of agricultural systems. To attain the aforementioned results in an aggregate manner, we developed 4 operational instruments that complement each other. Flagship projects are one example, and they serve as a coordinational tool or coordinational effort for technical cooperation and focus most of its resources. And that's where most of the institutional technical financial resources are aimed. Rapid response actions allow the Institute to respond in a timely manner and a flexible one as well to the needs of member countries. The Technical Cooperation Fund is a pre-investment fund that provides seed resources or it's a seed fund with the role of allowing countries to access development funds from international development agencies. And the countries use these funds for cooperation and for their own development. Now, these protected financial resources, these external resources that complement technical and financial capacities at ICA comprise more than 70% of the financial resources used by the Institute for Technical Cooperation. In addition to providing direct cooperation to ICA member countries, ICA also supports different mechanisms for integration, such that involve regional cooperational efforts, such as the Central American Agricultural Council, CAC, the Council of the South, CAS, and both are of a ministerial makeup. They also have regional cooperational programs, such as ProCisur, ProCinorte, ProCitropic, or Prom Café. The Institute also supports multilateral initiatives such as the Regional Agricultural Technology Fund, Fontagro, and the Innovagro Network, as well as the Inter-American Commission for Organic Agriculture, CIAO. So I also would like to emphasize the effort made by FORAGRO, the Agricultural Technological Research Development Forum for the Americas, created by the board in 1997 as a hemispheric mechanism through which debate and priorities are established for research purposes and agricultural innovation. FORAGRO has faced significant challenges regarding its actions, model, and financial sustainability. In 2015, it was a process to revamp FORAGRO was instated, and in November 2016, the executive committee approved a new proposal to streamline FORAGRO and make it more sustainable and inclusive. In 2017, the FORAGRO reform was underway with the establishment of a member assembly and a new statute which identified priority areas. Through the Forum for Research Institution and Agricultural Innovation of the Americas, our hemisphere is now better prepared to face the challenges in the future. I would like to emphasize the joint effort with the Mexican government and its grant program or scholarship programs. It's an excellent example of a horizontal cooperation which allowed that 1,000 experts to attend postgraduate studies and conclude these studies with the support of ICA at Mexican universities. In a similar manner, but at a different scale, the ICA virtual campus has made 30 courses available to 12,000 students in 2017, or its program of young scientists that has been, it's a young scientists exchange program historically supported by Canada. Given our model, our results-based management model, collaborating with the public and private sector is very important. The list of partners and results tied to agricultural chains and rural territories is broad and would take much time to describe. In order to establish these strategies, we looked at global trends tied to rural well-being, but we also looked at the results of national dialogues to identify cooperational needs in the needs of our different member countries. In addition to complying with the mandate of transparency in our accounting procedures and presentation of results. We execute events where we are accountable to all of our representative offices on a yearly basis. This encourages dialogue and the exchange of opinions on the results of the different actions undertaken by each member country, as well as identify opportunities for improvement. Accountability is a mandate for all of our member states. ICA, the fact that ICA has offices in our member countries, in the 34 member countries, and a permanent office in Europe, is one of the most noted strengths and valued by our institute. This has allowed us to establish close relationships, close working relationships with national authorities, as well as private counterparts and academia in different countries. Our national efforts are complemented by regional technical cooperation actions through yearly planning or yearly projects focused on priority items and items of interest to the region, mechanisms of regional integration, such as CAC-CAN and CARICOM. The General Director's Office participated in enriching ministerial dialogues for establishing regional agendas and being able to execute them in each of the countries. Regarding strategic partnerships, we've made noteworthy headway with with our previous partners as well as new ones, with multilateral organizations as well as donor countries. We've been able to establish initiatives that are underway and other types of and negotiated other types of efforts. An example is the European Union, the USDA, the Spanish Cooperation Agency, GIZ, and other financial bodies such as the Latin American Development Bank, the IDB, the World Bank, in this manner creating opportunities for the Institute to benefit rural communities in the Americas and the Caribbean through joint projects, actions, and opportunities to coordinate efforts for the future. Particularly with the FAO, we've had the opportunity to successfully rehearse new methods of cooperation through a framework agreement signed by both Director Generals. ICA is seen as a trustworthy partner, beneficial to many countries, because we are an organization that always serve our member states. We have always been accountable and reported all of our results through yearly reports, and as was mentioned, with regards to accountability in each country. As a result, we've noted that there's more trust in the Institute and its raison d'etre. We have been able to make it feel part of to make it feel like it belongs to you now more than ever. So it is based on this trust that we base our success. I also think that your trust has led to good management, good corporate management, and a continuous strategy of improvement. The aforementioned items have allowed timely funding for technical cooperation based on scale, coverage, and quality, and with a budget forecast model aligned to the strategic medium-term plan scenario. We've implemented an accounting financial system, SAP, in all of the ICA country offices, and we've created scale economies through better efficiency, operational efficiency, and financial efficiency as well. We've simplified and decentralized procedures, streamlined procedures, and strengthened our corporate infrastructure. This has led to the European Commission acknowledging our 5 pillars, since we comply with international standards of quality, internal surveillance, accounting, external audits, and grants and acquisitions. We've also modernized and complemented our regulatory framework with regards to topics that society requires all institutions to report, such as or to include, such as gender policies focused on gender and policies to prevent and address sexual harassment, in addition to updating our code of ethics and an anti-fraud policy, and adopting an anti-fraud policy. There's one topic that I'm not satisfied with, which is human talent, which is required for ICA to provide technical cooperation excellence. The financial shortcomings are hitting us hard in this area. So it's not only difficult to be competitive, but to attract highly qualified personnel. We're losing also international staff. This is a challenge that needs to be urgently resolved, as well as jointly with the member states and in the following administration. With regards to this item, I'd like to draw your attention by respectfully but firmly stating that it seems to me that in the future, or maybe very soon, the feasibility of the Institute may be compromised, requiring the countries to make drastic decisions regarding it. During this administration, and I will always be thankful for that, we're able to increase the budget of the regular fund, leading to an increase in the quotas of the member countries. In addition, many of you have paid additional overquotas. Based on the breakdown of the quotas paid by each country, as approved by the OAS General Assembly, as established by our rules of procedure and policies, periodically it's a burden for some countries to make their payment on time. In addition, financial difficulties and many policies of austerity hinder countries from accepting quota increases or even being able to pay their quotas on time. I can clearly understand that we can all find, or it's clearly understood that we'd all find different answers to this financial constraint, but because the problem in the future won't be increasing the quotas, but it's resolving this serious problem. But it's not, the problem won't be cut downs or operational reductions, because that has a limit. We just have to understand that ICA needs to be able to fulfill the objectives for which it was created. You have all asked the Institute to execute external funds to support, or to attain external funds to support our efforts. And my administration committed to that effort, but we're dealing here with resources and we can't truly depend on these types of funds. Today, we're privileging, we're preferring attaining international resources from global funds, such as the Green Fund, but these funds aren't specifically aimed at agriculture. For that purpose, we require that your governments access these funds. So it's a pleasure to mention that we've made great headway in being able to apply for this important source of funding. Dear members of the Iaba, the conviction of your countries that international technical cooperation is a tool of utmost importance to complement and increase the individual skill sets must be supported by extraordinary measures that will allow or ensure the financial well-being of the Institute in the long term. ICA can continue to help you for many more years and help you overcome the problems that you periodically face. What it will never survive is the indifference of those or the difference of those individuals that do not look at ICA's main raison d'etre. Thank you.
Quisiera, en primer lugar, felicitar a...
First of all, I would like to commend the Director General. Victor, you have definitely been present. It's definitely been a watershed moment at ICA. Your administration has made a difference. I would like to now to invite the participants to make any comments that you would like to share with the plenary.